So the first thing that we have to discuss is what do we mean by promotion? If you could give me a definition of promotion, please. How would you define the promotion or the promotional activities that are carried out by a business? Offers. Acha, let's say if a business they put a billboard with a model, let's say a sports star on that, and next to it there is just the product. So let's say it's a billboard by Pepsi. Would that constitute promotion or not? Would that be part of promotional efforts or not? That so that tells me that promotion it's not restricted to offers. If I could offer any other definition, which could be a bit more inclusive, let's say. Okay, so the way we define promotion is that promotion are all the activities which are carried out by a business in order to promote a favorable image of the business or its products. So let me write promotion. It would be first of all activities by a business, and those activities what for favorable image, favorable image of what? Favorable image of products and the business itself. Okay, this is what we call promotion. So for promotion we usually have two major categories in which we divide promotion. So the two major categories that we'd be using are above the line and below the line. So I have above the line promotion, and I have you covered this chapter at school, by the way? Below the line promotion. How much have you covered at school? Hmm. Okay. So now talking about above the line promotion and below the line promotion, how do I differentiate between the two? There are a number of ways. The first way to differentiate between the two is that we say these are directly paid for methods. Okay, and these are not directly paid for, but this is a bit ambiguous in today's world. Why, we would get to see it in a bit, but let's just first note down all the ways we can differentiate between the two. So the other way, one way is to say that above the line promotion are the methods in which we directly pay for the promotion, and below the line promotion are the methods in which we are not directly paying for the promotion of the business or promotion of the message of the business. The other way is to straightforward say that above the line promotion it's advertisement. Okay, so the promotional methods in which the business is advertising, they are above the line. The promotional methods in which the business is not advertising, they are below the line. Okay, so that tells me that for above the line promotional methods, advertisement is primarily the main, to the extent that I can substitutively use both of them. Okay, so now what for the question is, why would a business engage in promotion to begin with? Fine, these are the methods, but why would a business engage in promotion? What could be the circumstances which could make a to generate revenue, but promotion it involves spending. So how would spending generate revenue for? How would you reach break even point by advertisement, by promotion? How would promotion make your costs equal to revenue? What are you talking about? So you're saying a business is making profit, and in order to get to the break even is desirable when you are below break even. It's not that when you're making a profit, you want to get down to the level of break even again. So promotional methods, there are a few reasons that a business it would engage for. So we have already discussed that it is to form a favorable image. In what situations would a business be seeking to form a favorable image around its product? A few situations could be, for example, when we have launched a new product. So consumers, they are currently unaware of this new product which has just been launched, and in order to make them aware, uh, let's say launch in order to make them aware of this product, we would carry out promotion. The other reason could be that we are making the product available in a new territory. Making the product isn't new, but it's just being made available in a new territory. Making product available in new territory. Acha. Another reason could be reminding customers of the product. So yes, the customers, they buy your product, but continuously they are being bombarded with information from all your competitors for about their products as well. So you want to keep reminding them that this is the product that they're using, and there is a reason that they're using this product. Okay, another reason a business could enter into promotion would be to increase sales level. So, for example, we would see below the line promotion, you would engage in price offs, or so, for example, there could be seasonal dips in your sale. And in order to maintain your sales through those points, you might engage in below the line promotional methods. So, increase slash maintain sales levels. Another reason a business could enter into promotion could be to counter a malicious campaign by the competitor. To counter a malicious campaign or disinformation. Disinformation. Why else could a business engage in promotion? Hmm. Hmm. So we said that. Okay, so these are one, two, three, four, five reasons that we have discussed over here, which usually urge a business to enter into promotion. Now, coming to the types of the promotion that we have discussed, now we understand that a business would be carrying out promotion for these reasons. For above the line promotion, what are the different methods which are available to a business? And for above the line promotion, we have said that it's advertising. So, what are the different ways, or what are the different media that a business can choose to advertise its products on? Okay, one by one. So, I've got billboards. Then you said social media, social media. Then you have newspaper, and there is television. Good old TV ads. So, television. There is a thing called radio. Okay, and there could be leaflets or handouts. So leaflets slash handouts. Okay, so now each media it would offer you certain. For the social media, we'd rather use the term internet because that would automatically cover social media and otherwise internet. So we know that even when we search for something, so for example, if you type online tuition on Google, for on the Google website or any other search engine, the first few results that it shows you, besides that it's written in small different font, sponsored. So even there, it's a form of advertisement. The simple search that you're doing, that also. So that's not exactly social media, but that's a an ad that's appearing on, I mean, before you on internet as you are going around. Similarly, if you are reading, let's say, a news website, and in between the news you would see ads, so that exactly isn't a social media website, yet you're seeing ads as you're browsing around. So we'd use the term internet more generically, and obviously a good chunk of it happens on the social media websites. Okay, now for each of these methods that we have discussed, what would be the advantages of using this particular method, and what would be the disadvantages of using this particular method? Acha, we didn't cover, did we? We wrote newspaper. We wrote that. Okay, sir. For billboards, what would be the advantage and disadvantage? So, is that an advantage or disadvantage? So, message gets ignored as you pass by. So, pass by plus ignore message. Okay, so this is a downside. Could be expensive. Okay, another negative. So that's your choice where you put the billboard. That isn't exactly a fault of the billboard per se. That's your fault that you chose a wrong location to put your billboard on. Sir, it could be that the message is visual only, and for generally things that interact with you, the more senses that are used, the more engaging the message is. So, for example, a message that is visual and or auditory or visual and verbal, that would carry a stronger message as compared to a message that is simply visual or simply verbal. Okay, so visual only. Nowadays even that has changed. You've got electronic billboards on which videos are playing. So this is different from the previous static billboards that we used to have. So these are all the negative sides. So if there are only the negative aspects, why do people then engage in getting billboards for businesses? So first of all, it gets seen repeatedly. Okay, similarly, if your product is such that you're doing for that you want to go for mass marketing, it helps with that a lot of people they get served with the same message. And usually billboards, you might have noticed, they are gathered around at points. Not all people want to see that ad. Yes, that could be. Similarly, but for all the people who want to see the ad, it's something that's useful. I mean, you put it in just one place, and everybody who passes by, they get to see it every time they pass by. So they see the message repeatedly. Okay. Then it could be that you have a short punchline, short, crisp message with which gets delivered, and it just gets stuck in minds of the people. So it's easier for them to recall. Similarly, it's attached to an image, so even more so easy to recall. Simple message attached with an image, easier to recall. Okay. What about the internet? What could be the benefits or downsides of advertising on internet? Anything can cause a legal repercussion, but what particular legal repercussion are we talking about? I mean, that could happen for a radio ad too. That could happen for a billboard too. So for internet, the positive aspect is that it's cheap, relatively less expensive. The second thing is it can easily be targeted. So we know that the websites or the applications that we use, they are getting a lot of data points on us, and usually they have in their terms of agreement, would you like us to record your information in order to improve your user experience? So that improvement in user experience, by that sometimes they mean that we'll be showing you ads which are relevant to the activity pattern that we have noticed in you using your device. So based on that, they can help you target your message to very specific people. So for example, if I'm showing a billboard, I've put it on an intersection, and there would be people who would be interested in buying this product, and there are people who are never going to buy this product. So my message is getting delivered to all of them. But for internet, I can specifically target that, show my ad to people of this age group only, or people of this interest group only. So I can do a lot of targeting on the internet, very specifically identify which particular group I want to show the message. Similarly, as people, they interact with your ad. So for example, I would never know how many people actually saw my ad. I could make an estimate that each day these many cars they pass by the intersection, but how many people they actually watched the ad, how many of people they stopped and thought about the ad, how many people clicked on the ad, all this sort of information I can get from the internet ad that I'm running. People who actually paused their scrolling to look at my ad for 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, all the data points. People who actually clicked on the ad, people who got to the website, checked the product but then left, people who got to the website, checked the product, checked its price, added it to the cart, and then didn't end up shopping. So all these data points, they can be gathered through the internet. So can gather more data points for you. Okay, so there are a few downsides to advertising on the internet as well. Those downsides include, first of all, people they get irritated by pop-ups, irritating. And then there is some people they are reluctant to use internet as a means for e-commerce because of both phishing. Somebody they might for example fish their information and sell it every now and then. We have got these hacking scams, people who have done some e-commerce activity on internet, and the data is stored, that data it gets hacked and leaked. Okay, and then there is distrust from the customers as well, that the product that's actually shown on the internet, they take to the product that we get is different from what's being shown on the internet. So shown is not equal to actual product, could be if it's too misleading. So if you show them a burger and sell them just bun, it could be. Acha ji. Moving on to newspaper, what would be the advantage and disadvantage of advertising in a newspaper? So for these ads, uh, potential customers they can easily take a clipping of or can refer back to it. So for internet ad, once I see an ad, it's difficult to get back to the ad, or relatively difficult. But for the newspaper, I'll have the newspaper or the magazine or wherever it's advertised with me, and I can always open it up and look at it again. So easier to refer back. Then they have got national reach, national or local, depending on what newspaper you are uh, advertising in. So that's a plus point. Similarly, hmm, this is relatively cheap, as compared to billboards and TV ads. Similarly, you can, in case of magazines, you can easily identify and or you can target special interest people. So magazines help with targeting. So for example, if I have an economics related magazine, hmm, uh, can target people in a particular area also. So for example, if I have the magazines that you get when you are in an aeroplane, they'd always have some typical sort of ads. They would have more ads of different airlines. They would have ads of hotels. They would have ads of other tourist destinations. So people who are already engaged in an experience are likely to engage in that experience more often as compared to others. Okay, so a person who is actually in an taking a flight is more likely to get on another flight and get to a tourist destination or something. Okay, so similarly, a person who is reading economics magazine, maybe he'd be more interested in buying insurance, or he'd be more interested in investing in stock market as compared to any other person, because that person is assessing economic and financial information. So these sort of things. Similarly, for the magazines that we have for, let's say, ladies fashion, they'd have ads of accessories or different products, apparel or otherwise, that's usually that women they engage for shopping in, and so on. All right, G. For television also, there would be advantages and disadvantages. The disadvantage, first of all, would be that it could be too costly, or perhaps the most expensive of all which we are discussing over here. So each particular, so for a few seconds of ad, you could be at times charged even up to thousands and even hundreds of thousands of dollars for just a few seconds of ad. For example, in case of sports events, for example, this World Cup that we have got, or NFL that we have got, or Cricket World Cup. So all those, their advertisers who advertise at prime time, that could be very expensive. The positive would be that it's visual plus verbal message. Okay, usually a combination of words and music. Then what else? Reach is huge. Reach is a lot. What else? Use of product can be demonstrated, how you actually use the product. So you could actually show people using the product. That puts more reliance from a consumer's point of view. If they have a product and that then they're confused about how to use it, the ads are usually a good way of if they are reluctant in buying the product because they're not fully aware of how to use it, TV ads can solve that problem. So use of product can be shown. What else? mm, Obviously it's the medium which is used the most. It is the one which produces the most impact. The the downside is the downside is that message could be short lived. Why? Because there are too many ads that we get to see on TV, number one, and number two, the time between which I actually see the ad and I actually carry out the buying decision, there is a disengagement between that time. So by the time I get to the store, it could be that I've forgotten the ad. Okay. Acha ji, the last one similarly for radio and leaflets. Radio, obviously, the first impression that we would have, there is this question of audience. Is there a good enough audience of people who are listening to radio this day? That is a question. Podcasts are on the rise, so maybe it's for different age groups and for different socioeconomic demographics that people they engage more or less in engaging with radio. Similarly, the audio, the message, it's not visual. So message is not visual. That's another downside. What else? Nobody uses the radio. So it could be that the demand for the ads on radio is less. So maybe you could get a radio ad for a cheaper price. Okay. And you're worried about the sort of youngsters who are listening to radio. Okay, okay. How about you read this whole chart, the all the methods, advantages and disadvantages, and then we'll move to the next thing. For internet, it is relatively cheap. It is relatively cheap for the reason that for the distributors who are actually going to, first of all, yes, there is the volume of advertisement on internet, but my personal assessment is that still it's not as large as the volume on the billboard and TVs. Number one. Number two, the nature of the internet is such that everything, the attention span is very, very, very short lived. Okay. Number three, not as I said, major interest is still in the traditional methods. So, number four, the cost of distribution of ad on internet is very less. The cost of distribution, it doesn't take a lot on the part of the social media company or the internet company which is going to distribute your ad. Their costs are relatively very low. So in return, if they charge the same profit as they're charging on for a TV ad or for a billboard, the price would still be less, because for them to distribute the ad themselves, it's not a lot expensive. Do you get my point? So that is why internet it could still be cheaper. Acha ji. So this is what we have for above the line promotion. Now let's discuss the methods for below the line promotion. So below the line, I wrote again below the line. This would be not advertising, other than advertising. So let's write other than advertising. So, what are the methods that we have other than advertising to get to our customers? First of all, we have what we call these price offs. So, sales promotion. What is sales promotion? It could include. Hmm. So, one method above the line promotion, we discussed that it's majorly advertising. And then we discussed how advertising it would be carried out on different media and what would be the advantage and disadvantage of advertising on a particular media. Now we are talking about below the line promotion. And for below the line promotion, we said it's other than advertising the methods that we have got. The so the first method is sales promotion. What is sales promotion? Sales promotion is when you're trying to attract customers by either giving them discounts, or, for example, telling them buy one get one free, get one free. So trials that you're giving free trials of the product, that could be. Acha ji. Other than this, we have, let me check how many they have used in your book. Hmm. ठीक है जी. So first of all, for sales promotion, we have talked about buy one get one free, price offs. What else do we have? Loyalty cards. So for example, you tell people if you buy this much, we would give you a card, and your reward would be that if you buy again, we would give you a discount, or your loyalty card points would gather, and eventually, when you shop enough, we would give you a gift. That similarly, you could arrange competition for consumers, that if you buy this much, we would allow you to get into a lucky draw, and the one who gets selected in that lucky draw, they'd be given a certain gift. Okay, so these are different sales promotion techniques. Here the business is not spending anything, rather they are playing with consumer pattern or consumer buying behavior, consumer buying psyche, in order to promote a positive message of the business. So for example, if you get something for a discount, you're likely to tell it to someone else in your family as well, that, or friends, or your circle, that I got this thing for a discount. Maybe if you're looking for the same thing, you could go buy from them. Similarly, if you have got a loyalty card in which you have, for example, which allows you to, if you gather enough points to get another product at after some period, you're likely to engage in more buying pattern from them, and you're likely to have a more favorable image of this product. Right? You're going to simply buy more of this product. The same goes for money off deals and buy one get one free and those things. Make sense? Actually, similarly, the way you so it says over here merchandising and packaging. So let me just write that: merchandising and packaging. So, sir, the product itself, the packet that it's packed in, or the packaging that it's packed in, it's an avenue for you to promote your product. So if I go to a grocery store, and let's say there are 5 dishwashers which are lying around, without me ever getting closer to the shelf, from far away, each of those, they'd have a certain packet or a certain aura around it, and that would, I mean, before even getting to the aisle, I'll have some bias in favor or against certain product, that this one looks better, or this one, if it looks better, maybe it is better. That is what we are trying to play with. Similarly, at certain shops you are allowed, so for example, there could be a particular stand for Nestle. There is this shop with all the products, and there is this stand of Nestle, and then this fridge, in this particular stand, there are all the products of just Nestle, or let's say Pepsi. Have you seen such stands? So, for example, if you go to a fridge to get something, refrigerator from the shop, it's a fridge with Pepsi and Pepsi. Maybe it has other products as well. Usually, if it's a Pepsi fridge, it would have all the different variants of Pepsi in it, right? So that's something. Uh, Again, the products all stacked together and easy for you to review all the products from the same seller. It's again a marketing ploy, and to put their logo and the color on the whole refrigerator, that just gives you that a sort of ad running by them, right? So this is again an example of, for both the display of the product and the packaging of the product. They would have packaged it anyway, but to package it in such a way that it induces customer to come and look at the product and maybe engage in more buying, or maybe look more appealing. So that's the sort of advertisement that we are looking for over here, or that is sort of promotion, not the advertisement, promotion that we are talking about over here. Okay, then there is this method of direct mailing. It could be considered a bit old. So you get these letters, or these, what are those called, magazines from different stores, and in that magazine they have put the catalog of all their products that they sell at their store. Direct mailing. So it could be that you get a leaflet from a particular restaurant and they have just sent you their menu, all the items that they offer. This would be another method of promoting the business. Then there is direct selling. Direct selling is when you have salespeople at shops, at malls, or knocking on your door, telling you about a product and asking you if you are are they banned or something. Mhm. So they could be there at the malls and they could be knocking doors of the people and getting directly to their homes and asking them there if they are interested in buying certain thing. And then we have this method of exhibitions and trade fairs. So in exhibitions and trade fairs, some authority, they would announce that they are arranging this trade fair, and all the people who are related to that trade, they could book a stall over there and exhibit their products over there, and people, they can come and check products of similar nature offered by different competitors and make a decision which one they want to buy. So exhibition and trade fair. There are two that are missing over here. Let me see if they are given ahead. There is this method of sponsorship, yes, and public relations. So let me write, there is this method, sponsorships, and there is this method of public relations. What are sponsorships? Sponsorships are relatively easier to understand. For sports, we know that all these different teams. So the main idea of the sponsorship is that you are carrying out an activity and there is someone who says that I will sponsor your activity. I would help you meet your expense for this activity. Okay. And in return, you put out a logo or the business message for that business which has sponsored you, where the activity is taking place. So it has now almost become equivalent to, let's say, advertising. So for example, all the sports team, we know they're carrying a certain logo on their jerseys. So that's similar to, I mean, previously you were buying space on billboard or you were buying space on internet to promote your message or to put forward your logo. Here you are putting it on the jerseys of the people, or perhaps on a, so at different conferences that you go, they've got a big board, and on that big board they have put logos of all the different people who have sponsored the that particular activity. Similarly, for movies, at times it happens that at start of the movie they'd run ads for certain sponsors. It could be advertisements, it could be sponsors who have sponsored that particular activity. And the last one is public relations. So public relations is that, first of all, the first idea is that you do an event or you do an activity in such a good manner that there is automatically attention from the news media outlets who want to cover you for that activity. Okay, let's say that your business, it has grown exceptionally well, and the news media, they want to give a story of how this particular business, it has grown so well, or it has overcome all these different difficult circumstances. That could be one. Another could be if you have a well-known business and you make a press release. Okay, so you make a press release that from our business we want to make this particular statement, and that press release, it then gets covered by different news media outlets. Or it could be that there are certain questions which are being raised about your business, or if your business has done really well, you can call a press conference, and in that press conference there would be representatives from different media outlets, and you would be just making a statement or answering questions from the journalists in that press conference, and that would automatically give coverage to your business. Another promotional activity, I don't know if it should be a promotional activity or not. If a business, it's engaged in CSR, corporate social responsibility, CSR. So we know what CSR is, right? where the business, it says that all right, we are a corporate, we are a business, our aim is profit maximization, but we live in a society and we have to we can't be oblivious to the needs of the society, or if something's wrong happening in the society, we must try to play our part to correct that. So if a business is engaging in such an activity, then it would also get some coverage for that. It could be that they're making donations, it could be that they're let's say activity wise engaged in correcting something or doing something good. They could get PR, public relations, or media coverage for that, and that could be good for their business. All right. Another thing that we can talk about is for promotion. If a business, it engages in a viral trend. So previously, what used to happen was that you would be just going about your daily business, and suddenly someone, they would take liking of a certain activity of yours, and they would just pass the message around, and then the other person did also like the activity more. So viral activities previously, they used to be organic, that someone somewhere is doing something, somebody perhaps makes a video of it and it becomes viral. Now what the businesses, they're trying to do is they're deliberately trying to understand what becomes viral and what doesn't become viral, and they deliberately make an effort into making viral content. Okay, so viral marketing, it has got the name. If the business is engaged in such activities of producing viral content, of producing something that they're deliberately trying to make viral, that would be another example of below the line marketing. Acha ji, that you could have newsletters too. Newsletters. Acha, branding it also. So another method is newsletter. If you have a newsletter of your business, you're just going about telling different people of what are the major events that have happened around the business, and this could be a source of promotion for the business as well. People, they might subscribe to your newsletter. So for example, for all these websites that you visit, or for a particular product that you buy, they often ask you, would you like to subscribe to our newsletter too? And at times we say, fine, what's wrong with getting information? And then our email inboxes, they keep flooded. Acha ji. Then we have got branding. So branding in itself is a form of promotion for the business. How? If I am selling something unbranded versus I am selling the same thing with a brand, it would automatically be easier for me to sell the product when it's in the branded form. Why? Because now it's not just generic product, it's that particular brand. So for example, search engine is generic, you have any other search engine, or you are, or let's say uh, different social media accounts trying to teach students different subjects. That's one thing. Khan Academy is a particular brand which has become famous among all of them. Okay, so it could be a channel of a particular person who is just trying to teach stuff, different things to different people, but it could become that it takes form of a particular brand, or they register a particular brand. That is why usually for businesses, it is recommended that if they can uh, uh, put a brand on their product and then sell it, it would be better for them. The question over here could be that, fine, why, even after knowing that brands or branded product, it sells more, why could still there would be some businesses who aren't selling branded products? So what sort of businesses, they, even knowing, after knowing all this, they would still prefer to or engage in selling a product unbranded? The answer is that in case where you are unable to differentiate your product from that of the competitor. And what would be the example of that case? For example, if you're selling vegetables, usually the case for the vegetables is that they sell unbranded. Similarly, for the stationery items that I'm selling, at times it could be that people, they put names, and yes, they do. There are, for stationery items, it isn't true, because for even very cheap ball pens that you have got, they'd still carry some brand name. What could be other example? There are agricultural products. Other than that, I can't think of anything else right now. Maybe there are, but for vegetables, for potatoes and mangoes, for fruits and for shimla mirch and those things, you'd usually have them in unbranded form. I was teaching another student in UAE, and he says that he told me that even vegetables over here they sell in branded form. Okay, so classically here back in India and Pakistan, we could easily see these corner street shops which are selling vegetables and wouldn't be carrying any brand. The other, the other reason or the other principle which could perhaps help us identify which products would sell unbranded is that if the cost of branding it outweighs the additional revenue that you'd get from branding. So, for example, if you're branding a particular product, you would wish for it to now fetch more revenue for you, right? That is why you turned it into a branded product. You got into all the hassle of registering the brand, thinking of a brand, and then putting that on the product. But as a result of that, you do not get any much additional revenue even after all that activity. So, in those circumstances, you would perhaps think whether you should even brand the product or not, put a brand on the product or not. Another thing, another consideration could be that once you make a product, a particular brand, now you'd have to be more consistent with the quality of the product that you provide. Hmm. 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 So once you put a brand, that puts more responsibility of consistency on you. So each time I open a packet of Doritos, I expect the same quality as the last Doritos that I had. For vegetables, it at least over here it gets to differ. So from lot to lot or from time to time, what sort of vegetable that you get, it could differ. That is why it usually sells unbranded. For fruits, for example, all the mangoes that I have, they'd be of different sizes, and at times even their taste it could differ slightly. But for all the Pepsi bottles that I buy, they're same. They taste entirely the same. They'd weigh entirely the same. Isn't that the case? So the consistency, if you're unable to maintain consistency, then even perhaps you should reconsider branding. Should I put a brand on this product, or would my then publicity be that of an inconsistent brand? So that's something again to consider for businesses. And obviously, once you put a brand on the product, besides selling the product, the brand itself it acquires a lot of value. So we know that, for example, if I go to buy any particular business today, let's say the media companies that these social media companies that we have, Google or Facebook, Apple or something, these tech companies, they wouldn't sell me their business for just the product or the physical assets they have. They would similarly charge me a far higher price for the intangible product of their business or the intangible aspect of their business, which is their brand. Because now that brand, it has also accumulated a value. Okay. G. For businesses, so for example, if there is any unbranded business, I could sell all of my business plus a little bit markup on top of that, on top of the value of physical assets, and that would be the value of my whole business. But if my business has acquired a brand, if it has a brand name, and that brand name over the period of time it has acquired a goodwill, it has acquired a positive value. People, they have repeatedly they buy the product from me for the sole reason that it has got this brand on it. So when we go and when we are going for the search engine, it's not the term search engine that we use. We simply use the term to Google something. That is so much they have penetrated into the market and got the market share, that their product or their brand, it has become synonymous with the aspect or with the idea of web search, right? I'm sorry. Acha, I was giving you example of Google, that we do not use the term web search anymore. Can you hear me fine now? Uh, We simply use the term to Google something. So that is how much synonymous their product or their brand name it has become with a particular activity. So for any other search engine, they would be selling their search engine. But for Google, besides selling their search engine capabilities, they would be selling that brand name as well. So the point over here is that if you have a brand and over a period of time that brand it gathers enough goodwill, it could become far more valuable for the business than the physical assets of the business put together themselves. So all physical assets on one side and the value of brand on the other side, the value of brand would be more. So it could become a really useful asset for the business. Did you get it? Okay. अच्छा जी, strategies, different markets, special offers, branding. अच्छा, I believe that's largely it for this chapter. Um, we could go ahead with the MCQs. Sure. One second. Just a second, please. Oh, marketing sponsorship. All right. So, what's the for example of above the line promotion radio advert? Fine. Hmm. Correct. Press conference. Television advertising. Practically speaking, businesses they it's not that they'd be relying on just one method. So saying that Pepsi would be running television ads wouldn't mean that they wouldn't be advertising on social media, or if they could, they wouldn't be giving out newsletters. But what's the primary method that they'd be relying on? So if you are a business which aims to reach a mass market, primarily you would be relying on television advertising for that. For e-newsletter it would still somewhere be compiling a list of the people and sending them those letters separately, or I mean even if it's mail merge or something, some software you're using, still you'd be relying on a particular list of email addresses to send the newsletters to. For television advertisement you'd simply be putting that ad on air and it would automatically through news channels or other TV channels it would reach the masses. You wouldn't have to gather data of each individual household that you're showing the television advert to. So it would have a far more reach. Which of the following is an aim of promotion? Inform customers about a new product. All right, so that's it for this lesson. You do the case study as homework. The questions at the end of it